Howdy folks, want to support us? Support us at patreon.com/battlegeekplus.
Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're talking about today is Tecmo Super Bowl! So I've been a fan of football ever since my parents took me to a football game at the Los Angeles Sports Memorial Coliseum, where it was the Raiders versus the Dolphins, and the Dolphins beat them 24-0. So this is why I am wearing a shirt of my favorite team, the Miami Dolphins. Yes, you can get the shirt at tecmobowlers.com. Although, honestly, I haven't really followed football for the past couple of years, but I do watch the Super Bowl every year. So my football knowledge only really goes back to when, Dan Marino was still quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. So I remember back at my cousin's, he and his friend were playing the original Tecmo Bowl, which definitely looked pretty cool, but I didn't really know anything about football or its rules back in the day. So even though I loved football, I didn't really know the rules. I didn't know what first to fourth down was and shit. So I was that kid who punted the ball on second down. I also tried to go for field goals when I was 90 yards away. And I would be excited when, oh hey, I'm on second down. There's more. And Tecmo Super Bowl was the game that actually taught me the rules of football. And it even got me interested in playing football when I was a kid. And I was terrible at it. But still, Tecmo Super Bowl was awesome! So Tecmo Super Bowl is based on the 1990-91 season when the Giants won the Super Bowl that year. Yeah, I remember because a lot of my friends were talking about it, but I didn't really know the teams. I just cared about the Dolphins and Dan Marino. How come the Dolphins didn't make the Super Bowl? I would have liked them to face the Giants. So what really made me a fan of this game was in 1992, after my friend brought over Tecmo Super Bowl, I decided, you know what, I like this game enough that I'm going to rent it from my mom and pop video rental, rather than renting, Mega Man or Mario, and give this game a shot. I would always choose the Miami Dolphins, but I wasn't really good enough at the game because I didn't really understand it. I couldn't even score a single touchdown. But the light bulb in my head finally went off when I realized, 1 through 4th down is how many chances you get within a 10-yard range to get another first down so you can get closer. And that's what actually made me good at the game. Understanding the whole concept of downs. So now I realize the difference between run and pass plays. I started realizing that you can use a field goal when you're less than 50 yards away from the end zone, and you have to punt when you're on the other side of the field so the other team won't have a lot of yardage. And then after that, I felt like I was really playing football. So the first thing about this game that you notice is the music. The music of Tecmo Super Bowl is fucking incredible. It's like Ninja Gaiden quality music, but in football. Like the title screen. Yeah, I especially love the music during the preseason games. It just sounds like it's like you're watching a game during the summer. Yeah, and I definitely love how dark the music goes during the playoffs and the Super Bowl. And I also love the tune that plays after a game is over and they show all the stats. It really sounds like kind of motivational. And the best music of them all was definitely the music that plays after you win the Super Bowl. I mean, that music really made you feel that you accomplished everything. So once I started learning how to use the playbook in this game, my favorite plays were mostly, I like the play action for the pass, I like the shotgun, and my favorite pass play is usually the flea flicker. If you were able to successfully pull off a flea flicker, you had the game in the bag. Now, Tecmo Super Bowl is a lot different than a lot of the Madden games. The Madden games have offensive plays and defensive plays. Tecmo Super Bowl mostly has offensive plays, and your defense is usually trying to guess which offensive play the other team uses. It's kind of funny. I would play with my friend and we would tell each other which play we chose. I was like, pass 1. Oh, fuck, I chose run 4. But the problem is with the flea flicker, if the defense guessed it right, you were fucked. You would fumble that fucking ball and they would get it. So you had to be really careful about the flea flicker. So for the running plays, I liked having a play that went up, I liked having a play that went down, but my favorite one was the RNS quarterback sneak. Like most of the time I can pull it off and get a decent amount of yardage, but the problem was the quarterback was usually one of the slower players. Like they usually make the faster players, the wide receivers, the tight ends, and the running backs. Yeah, and I confess, I'm mostly a pass guy, so if you play against me in Tecmo Super Bowl, I'm gonna go for passes like 95% of the time. And if you guess my flea flicker, yeah, so when it comes to the mechanics of this game, I admit I am a complete expert at the offensive mechanics, but not so much the defensive mechanics. Yeah, so when it comes to the offensive mechanics, like the run plays don't really get you a lot of yardage, but the pass plays, if you were able to get a pass successfully completed, you can run up and down kind of in a jigsaw type of way, and you can easily avoid most of the defense, but they actually do make the defense a lot faster than you if you're not that lucky. So usually when it comes to the defense in this game, I usually pick one of the linebackers and I try to look for an opening to sack the quarterback because I really sucked at using the cornerbacks and the safeties because it's very hard to intercept passes in this game. Although the computer has no problems doing it when you try to pass. And also what was really awesome about this game, in Tecmo fashion, were the cutscenes. Just like in Ninja Gaiden, but you get football cutscenes. Like I love the cutscenes where you score a touchdown. Oh, and when you get sacked, it's fucking brutal. And then those epic cutscenes where you throw the ball and you're just hoping your wide receiver catches it, and he does! Although there are a lot of times where it bounces right out of his hands. And they really make the injury cutscenes so intense, like... And it is pretty funny when one of the teams wins the championship game, they're all cheering, and then in the bottom right corner you see that player just hanging his head in shame. Oh yeah, and then there's the cutscenes with the cheerleaders. So I remember the back of the box really emphasized on so much real football that you get to play seasons in this game, like the full 16 game season. And the good thing is you can actually skip most of it, although it takes a very long time. Well, see, back in my day when we played Tecmo Super Bowl and we tried to get past the seasons, we had to watch the scoreboards go all the way, man, all the way until we hit the playoffs, son. And also with the playoffs, this game uses a random generator to determine who wins if you don't decide to play as any of the teams, so if you don't like the results of one, you can just reset it. Then, the big game itself, the Super Bowl! So the coolest thing about the Super Bowl is the mighty Bomb Jack halftime show. Yeah, so what was funny about this game is the worst teams in this game were the Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots, and the best teams in this game were definitely the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. Although, look at the Patriots now. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to believe that Tecmo Super Bowl took place during 1990 to 91, and the last Tecmo Super Bowl player retired in 2010. So pretty much if you play this game, absolutely none of the players in there are playing football anymore, which is kind of sad. Yeah, so Tecmo Super Bowl for the NES. It actually did spawn a couple of sequels on the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, which I personally did not find as good as the NES version for some reason. So even though Tecmo doesn't make football games anymore, the legacy of this game is still preserved by a lot of dedicated fans out there at TecmoBowl.org and TecmoBowlers.org, where I got this t-shirt. Because at TecmoBowl.org, you can actually download updated Tecmo Super Bowl ROMs, which update all the players, they add all the new teams, and also you can join a Tecmo Bowl League. Now, isn't that pretty fucking cool? Yeah, so Tecmo Super Bowl for the original NES is still my personal favorite football game of all time, and you can get this game on eBay. It's not super expensive, but it's kind of getting up there. I definitely recommend getting a reproduction cartridge with the updated players, and you can definitely get the ROM online. Yeah, so that wraps up this episode of Awesome Video Game Memories about Tecmo Super Bowl. And if you have any memories about this game, make sure to leave those in the comments below. Take care and touchdown!
Howdy folks, want to see us play some games? Watch us on twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus.